Sarah is always talking to me about her acupuncture care, which is who we are talking to next. We're talking to Erin from Solstice Natural Health. She's an acupuncturist, and she's just a rad human being and super passionate about serving the pregnant population. So I'm going to go ahead and see. Here she is. We're going to bring her up here. Whenever you're ready, Erin, we are ready to join you. Good morning.
Hello, hello.
Good
Hey,
morning.
Erin. You guys have such pretty backgrounds. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I tried all kinds of options and plain was the best, so here we are.
I love it. Simple. It's the way to go.
Well, hi, thanks for having me. It's exciting
Yeah.
to be here because I love talking about pregnant bodies and talking to pregnant people about their pregnant bodies.
Yeah, man. Great.
So
Well,
thanks for the opportunity.
hey, no problem. We're excited to have you. We're going to disappear for a minute and let you run the show. So,
All right.
go.
Hi, everybody. So my name is Erin Brockmeyer. My business is called Solstice Natural Health. I am an acupuncturist. I do custom herbal formulas for patients, and I do custom nutritional support. So it's a very holistic, full-service healthcare that we provide at my office in downtown Portland. And of course, because of these unique times, I'm also doing a lot of telemedicine with my patients, and we can talk about that later. So I've been in business for almost 14 years. In May, it'll be 14 years, which seems like a really long time. And I have been pregnant or a mother for most of those years. So it's been an interesting thing to combine my love of women's health with my own understanding of what it means to be a woman going through these transitions. So I had this whole presentation that I had kind of worked out. And then this morning I got on Facebook, as we often do, right? And a memory popped up in my Facebook profile. And it was a memory of me 6 months pregnant with my first baby. And I was standing there in what clearly were work clothes. I had either just come home from work or was on my way to work. And was, side profile cradling my pregnant belly. And I was just beaming with happiness to be sharing this with the world. And I was so struck by how different the circumstances must be for all of you going through this pregnancy and postpartum right now. Obviously being pregnant is so different anyway than not being pregnant, especially when it's your first time. And so going through the world is not the same. But then having on top of that, this really unique situation of quarantine, and nobody's life is really running like normal right now. And it made me think.
Erin, it looks like maybe you got muted.
There we go. Sorry. Technology. So I have been closed for 4 weeks in accordance with just best practices and still seeing urgent patients. And pretty much all of my urgent patients have been my mamas who are getting close to giving birth. And the urgency has come in the form of, extreme pain, low back pain, can't sleep, can't sit at their desk to work, can't walk. But also a lot of it has been anxiety. And that has been, that's always, I think, a piece of what we're dealing with when we're pregnant, this big transition that's happening to us. And we only have so much control in the process. And most of us really, really love being in control of everything. So, but right now the anxiety is coming a lot from people not being sure of what their birth is going to look like, and having the feeling that a lot of their providers are not around in the same way that they were before. So that kind of segues into me being able to tell you, like, the whole reason I got into women's health. When I was in school, medical school for acupuncture, when we were in one of our gynecology classes, I remember going through, this is what we're going to learn about in this quarter. And one of the topics was dysmenorrhea, which means painful menses. And this light bulb went off in my head of, wait a minute, if painful menses is a disorder that we're learning to treat, then that means you don't actually have to have painful menses. How am I a 28-year-old woman and just learning about this now? So that kind of started my whole segue into realizing that as women, our bodies go through so many changes, even in a normal month, hormonally, and we learn almost nothing about it. And so right then and there, I decided that it was my mission to empower women by educating them about their bodies and by giving them an outlet in which they actually have a lot of power and a lot of autonomy and a lot of chances to learn about themselves and to understand the processes that their body is going through. And at no time is that more important, I think, than during the pregnancy and postpartum phase. And the big reason for that, you're very vulnerable during those stages of your life, but also it is the biggest transition that you go through physically, mentally, and emotionally. So you are transitioning in every single way. You're transitioning as who you are in the world. You might have a career that now looks different, or you may say goodbye to that career and stay at home raising your children. Your relationship with a partner is going to change. Your relationship with your friends is changing, and your relationship to your body is changing. And if you don't understand those changes, it makes it that much more difficult. And the messaging that we get from the media, from TV, from magazines, what do we see? On Instagram, we see pictures of a woman who she's famous and she's glowing and she looks gorgeous during pregnancy. And then she has her baby, and 3 weeks later, look at her flat tummy, right? All the messaging we get is that we're supposed to just push on life as normal. And that's really hard to do even in the best pregnancy. But if you have anxiety going on, if you have insomnia, if you have hip pain that is keeping you from sleeping, if you have heartburn and constipation and these things that might sound not like such a big deal, they can really make your life miserable. And one of the things that I really aim to do when I'm treating patients is not just give them solutions, but actually teach them about the hormonal processes that are happening in their bodies so that they understand, like, a slow digestive system is par for the course. Your hormones are causing that. So how do we work with that to make sure that you can still eat and digest your food and not be completely miserable by the end of the day because you haven't gone to the bathroom for 4 days? These are really important things. And the way that I treat people is really multifaceted. So acupuncture obviously can be a really big piece of that. And right now that's a piece that's limited for some people, although we are going to be opening back up on May 5th with all the precautions in place. But without acupuncture, which is, acupuncture is amazing for all of these issues. It really helps calm the central nervous system. So anxiety, insomnia, anything like that is going to be calmed just by being at your treatment. It's also great for round ligament pain, for low back pain, for migraines, headaches, nausea, morning sickness, all of that stuff that's going on. But I also do a lot of custom herbal medicine for patients, and I am incredibly safe. I only use herbs that are okay and recommended for pregnancy, but I also only do custom formulas because that way we can make sure that every single thing that you're getting is necessary for you and is safe for you. And I actually use that a lot with patients that I have who have recurrent miscarriages. In the first trimester, we often will include herbal medicine as a way of protecting the pregnancy, dealing with any kind of spotting or cramping or anything like that that starts coming up. And then we always manage that as safely as possible. And of course, only use that when it's necessary and when it's indicated. But I feel completely safe about using herbal medicine. And we talk a lot about nutrition because there are so many things that you can do dietarily, like adding flaxseed to your morning smoothie or oatmeal can really help minimize constipation. We talk about all these other things that you can add in so that you have some control over what's going on in your body, and you can do it in the least invasive way possible so that you still feel safe. I work very closely with doctors and midwives and doulas, and I'm glad to make recommendations. I loved listening to Danielle's presentation beforehand because I love chiropractic for pregnant women as well. And I work so closely with chiropractors because chiropractic, physical therapy, acupuncture, they all work so well in tandem. We can all support the work that each other is doing to make sure that you have an enjoyable pregnancy, because you really deserve that. And so that is where a lot of my passion comes from, is really making sure that women have a chance to learn about their bodies, to really fully understand the miraculous things that are happening in their bodies during pregnancy and postpartum, even when it feels not so miraculous, and to give them the support that they deserve so that they feel like they're not alone. Because you know what? Pregnancy is not all sunshine and roses, and that's okay too. I just really want you to feel like you have the support that you need and the place to have whatever experience you need to have so that you can feel empowered and enjoy that growing baby as much as possible.
Thank you so much, Erin. That was really awesome. I appreciated hearing a bit about you as a pregnant person too. Like I've been thinking a lot about how different it is for people right now.
Yeah, so different. And I had two very different pregnancies, and one of them I absolutely loved, and the other one did not love, had tons of anxiety, had insomnia, was so sick. And it was acupuncture and herbal medicine that really made me able to get through that and enjoy my own pregnancy. But I think it's also really important to acknowledge that not everybody is going to love being pregnant, and that's okay too. And we can still support that without you having to feel shame about the fact that you're not loving every second of it.
Yeah, definitely.
It doesn't mean that you're not going to be a good mom.
Yeah, I think that's such an important thing to say to people. So thank you for that.
Yes, my pleasure.
Thank you for joining us today. It was great to hear from you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. I hope you have a fun rest of the day.
Thanks. Thanks, Erin. So that is the end of our pregnancy providers, everybody. Sarah's going to go ahead and show you some information from Erin, who you just heard from. That's her business and her website. So there's that.